is that the property be brought up to code. The councilors passed a resolution to continue the hearing at a future city council meeting. And winner cake all, indeed. Haverhill's Aaron Erler and Christine Barton of the Broadway Bake Shop Cakes by Aaron took home a cool $10,000 Monday night on the Food Network competition series Winner Cake All, beating out 3 other teams for the bragging rights. Tasked with designing a cake for comedian Lonnie Love and the Improv Comedy Club, Erler and Barton chose to pay tribute to several of the club's famous comedians like Joan Rivers and Robin Williams. They flavored the cake with chocolate and salted caramel. Erler told Love during the judging round that your experience with comedy is that you want to laugh until you cry, so we pulled salty tears and used salted caramel. As Erler and Barton told WHAV before Monday's episode, they had 5 hours to construct the cake. When the episode filmed last October, typically the bakers would prefer 24 hours to craft a similar dessert. A Massachusetts State Police report there was a fatal one-car accident shortly before 3 o'clock this morning on the Marston Street 495 ramp in Lawrence. The victim's name was not released, but we'll have details when they become available. In sports, the Celtics are going to be hosting the Trailblazers tonight while the Bruins have the night off, and the Red Sox have an exhibition game today with the Orioles. The high school tournament schedule, tonight in boys basketball, Division I, Haverhill is at Lawrence. That's a first-round game, and Central Catholic has advanced to the quarterfinals. They'll play on Saturday night. In Division II, boys basketball, North Andover will be in the quarterfinals on Friday night, and in Division III, boys basketball, Pentucket is in the quarterfinals on Friday night. In girls basketball, Division I, on Friday night, Haverhill is at Peabody in the quarterfinals. And tomorrow night, Central Catholic is going to take on Billerica in the quarterfinals. In Division II girls basketball, Pentucket is hosting Wilmington in the quarterfinals tomorrow night. And in boys hockey, Division II, last night, North Andover and Pentucket both lost their first-round matches and have been eliminated. In girls hockey, Division I, the Methuen-Tewksbury squad is in the first round, their opponent still to be determined. And in Division II girls hockey, Central Catholic lost to Matignon yesterday in a preliminary round game, 6-0. Elsewhere, the Valley Junior Warriors are on the road today, taking on the Boston Junior Rangers. Remember, WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source, and there's always more at WHAV.net, where you can sign up for the free newsletter. Why not today? From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, this is Win Damon.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Nick Harper. US President Donald Trump's former lawyer has told Congress his boss is a racist, a conman and a cheat, and suspects him of collusion with Russia. Tensions have escalated between India and Pakistan, with Pakistan saying it shot down 2 Indian fighter jets over Kashmir. And US President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un have kicked off their second summit in Hanoi, Vietnam.
WAVE weather.
Now your WAVE weather forecast for Haverhill in the Merrimack Valley. Winter weather advisory in effect until 7 a.m. A very snowy night ahead with around 3 to maybe upwards of 5 inches possible. Temperatures drop back to 17 degrees with a light breeze. For the day Thursday, any snow will move out before 9 a.m., becoming mainly sunny. Highs near 30 with a very light breeze. Thursday night, mostly clear, low 16. And upper 30s, mostly sunny for Friday. I'm WHAV meteorologist Brian Ivy. Your next WAVE weather in 30 minutes.
Broadcasting on the Armstrong FM system, this is 97.9 WHAV. 97.9 FM WHAV.
Catch the wave, WHAV, Merrimack Valley.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents Good Sports with Paul Ryan and Tommy Morgan. Good Sports is sponsored in part by Haverhill attorney Gerard LaFlamme. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Welcome to another evening of Good Sports. Paul Ryan at the helm with Tommy Morgan and Dave Morrison, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Dave Morrison. Tommy, how are you?
Well, how are you?
We've got an in-studio guest tonight. He'll be with us momentarily, Kyrie Irving, unless he can't make it.
Wait, Kyrie's coming to the show?
Yeah, unless he.
I'm the producer. Nobody told me.
I'm not sure whether he'll make it or not. He doesn't usually show up.
I'm not sure we want him. There he is right now. Jesus.
He doesn't show up for everything. That's for sure.
Yeah, he was a no-show last night, that's for sure.
Oh, my God. They're all done. They're all done.
They're toast.
They're all done. I mean, the young kids hate him. They hate him. They want him gone. If they got rid of him, I'll tell you right now, if they could play the rest of the season without him, they'd win probably 75% of the games.
You know, I was thinking about this earlier too, right? You know, with the whole back and forth, is he staying, is he going, trading for Anthony Davis this, trading for Anthony Davis that. Like, it's kind of funny, you know, are they more worried about, or are they talking about him leaving, or
us winning?
Or are they on the way out the door? You know what I mean, for the Anthony Davis trade?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? I feel like from a Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum perspective, it's like, okay, both number 3 picks overall. You know, 2 guys that thought this was going to be the team that is built around them. Obviously, Kyrie Irving falls into your lap, and now it seems like it's going the other way.
Well, you know, I look at it this way, Tommy. You haven't got Anthony Davis. And to be totally honest, you've got about 40% of Kyrie.
Right.
All right? And mentally, he's not there. You know that. He's just dragging the team down. And I can only coach what I got there.
Right.
And guess what? Get rid of Kyrie. Get him out the door. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. We'll be. I used to coach at Woody Tech, Dave Fabrizio. You know Dave?
Mm-mm.
Dave's a good friend of mine, and we had a player. We were making tryouts at Woody Tech. We had a player on the team that was talented as all heck, big boy, tough kid. Guess what? He was just a pain in the butt all the time. And David would come to practice every day, Coach Fabrizio, and I was his assistant. And he'd say to me, "Oh, geez, what am I going to do with him?" Finally, after about 4 days, I said to him, "Hey, you want to sleep better tonight? Cut him this morning. Cut him today. That's it. Get rid of him. Gone. Bye. You'll never worry about him again. And then we can start coaching the guys that want to be here."
Right.
And guess what? Best thing he ever did. Mm-hmm. And you got to do it.
Right.
You know, we got a call on the line. I don't want to keep him waiting. John from Haverhill. John, it's cold outside.
No, babe. No, Coach. It's hot outside. The Bruins are on fire, brother.
Yeah, they are. You got it. Let me tell you. You know, they made a couple of small moves. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I don't know who took my call, but even he says we're going to the Stanley Cup. I hope we win it.
Dave Morrison, yeah.
That would be me.
He said the no true words.
Yeah, I think that they're peaking at the right time, and they made a couple of moves. Nothing spectacular, but, you know, it looks like, what's his, Mattinson? Johansson was a good fit last night. He looked like he was part of the team all along.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and smart player.
Yeah.
And you got Coyle. Coyle's going to be solid for you because he's a local guy coming back home, you know. And nothing like the thrill of playing in the Garden all the time.
Hey, wasn't that the name of the kid in the Mighty Ducks movies?
Charlie Conway?
No. Oh, I thought it was Coyle.
No,
Sorry.
Charlie Conway. I got to tell you, though, John, I think I'm starting to take the cheese on these guys, too. They're a good bunch. I mean, obviously, you got to get by Tampa Bay, but...
They play them tonight, right?
That's 95% of the league.
When do they play them? Tomorrow night? Tomorrow night. Well, tomorrow night would be a good... Tomorrow night would be a good time to set a precedent, you know, get things rolling. You know, you got them at home and say, okay, you want to play 4 games here? Okay, we can play 4 games here.
Dominated the crap out of San Jose Sharks. They shredded them. Sorry.
I know, and that's a good hockey team too. They're a good team out west, and top 5 in the standings for the league. So that was a really good win last night. You beat them twice in a matter of a week. So.
I only got to see half the game, but for what I saw online, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a really, really great game by them last night. You know, it's
Pasternak, that little ball of heat, Masha, they're all gelling like it's friggin' not crazy.
Yeah, wait till Pasternak comes back, right?
Right.
He's missed, what, 7 games now?
Yep.
7 or 8 games, and, you know,
Been on fire without him, too.
yeah, you come back and get your best scorer.
Even David Krejci's been doing phenomenal. I mean, everybody says, he's done after he got hurt, that operation. No,
Right.
no way.
That's the biggest thing for me, too, is kind of, you know, the way he's elevated his game this year. Kind of a, you know, someone who was an afterthought last season. You know, but he's done a really nice job. Jake DeBrusk last night netted his 20th goal, so, and he's elevating the guys around him, and obviously Marcus Johansson chips in with an assist in his first game. So, like Paul said, not crazy moves, but it seems like maybe it was just enough. You know, you bring in a couple more veteran guys who aren't going to make mistakes.
Funny thing is, a former coach, Claude Julien, has done nothing with the Canadians. Nothing.
Yeah, he's had a tough go up there, but they're going to be a playoff team this year. So,
I'd love to see us. Here you go.
Yeah, that's always a tough place to play up there, though, in the Bell Center.
John, you can't call back next week if you don't say Claude.
Can I say Claude Opper?
Whatever you want, John. You're the best.
I
John,
hate the guy. I just the way he handled the young guys. I'm like, no. Next.
Yeah, you weren't the only one that said that around here. There were about 56,000 people every day that I heard it from. But anyway, John, we got to take a quick break here. So you want to give us a call back? You want to hang on? What do you want to do?
No, gentlemen, you have a good night. Stay warm. Go Bruins.
All
right, John. Don't slip on that snow tomorrow morning. It's going to be like...
I gotta bubble it.
Yeah, it's going to be light as a feather.
Have a good night, guys.
All right, John. Take care. Good luck. Bye-bye. That was John, Weekly Bruins.
He's been on him since the beginning of the year.
Yes, he has.
Talk about a guy that stays consistent.
I'll tell you right now, he's all fired up, as well he should be, and the Bruins are too. So we're going to take a break, and Dave Morrison give me the look. Dave's under the gun in there.
Yeah,
he's being watched closely. I don't know what he's done lately, but obviously...
I've had a lot of work done, guys. We'll talk about it in the off-air.
From the neck up?
No.
All right. Okay, we'll take a quick break. This is the Morrison moment. We'll take it right now. We'll be right back.
Good Sports will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. Good Sports is sponsored in part by attorney Gerard Laflamme of Haverhill.
97.9 WHAV is the only FM station assigned to the city of Haverhill. Your membership is critical to continued operation. It's easy to join. Just click on the membership tab at WHAV.net.
Catch the wave!
On air or online, 97.9 WHAV serves you. Twice an hour weekdays, keep up to date with exclusive local news and weather. Find out about civic events on Community Spotlight every quarter hour. And better prepare with WAVE weather every 30 minutes. Mass Moments, Melinda's Garden Moment, Soundbeat, and Insight Daily complete the spectrum. Hear classic comedy and drama 7 nights a week at 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. Finally, a unique blend of rock and roll hits from the 60s, 70s, and 80s round out the entertainment. Stay with 97.9 WHAV, the only Haverhill-based news source.
Community Spotlight.
The Haverhill Exchange Club is holding its 18th annual Rick Barry St. Patrick's Day Breakfast Friday, March 15th, 7:30 a.m. at DeBurro's Function Hall, 887 Boston Road. The event benefits child abuse prevention and other Exchange Club programs. Tickets are $40 a person or $3.50 for a table of 10. The breakfast offers a 50-50 raffle, live Irish music, and other prizes and giveaways. For sponsorship or ticket information, call Melissa at 978-621-5391 or Sarah at 508-451-1497. More information at haverhillexchangeclub.com. Submit your own nonprofit event and announcements at least 3 weeks in advance. For best results, use the online form under the Contact tab at WHAV.net. In the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, I'm Eric Scott.
WHAV.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents Good Sports with Paul Ryan and Tommy Morgan. Good Sports is sponsored in part by Haverhill attorney Gerard Laflamme. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
978-374-1900. That's the number. If you want to talk to Millennial Morgan, you know, my sidekick to my right here, he's got no gravy on his shirt tonight. Must not have eaten yet. But I'm sure he's got, within the next 6 hours, he's got it planned.
I'm starving.
Because you are. I knew it. I could tell, Tommy. I could tell.
You know, I ate my lunch a little too early today.
Yeah, your fingers look a little skinny tonight.
I didn't time it up well. And I didn't bring enough snacks to get me through the rest of the day.
Oh, boy. Isn't that bad?
Yeah.
Did you get a headache?
No, I'm good. I think I'll battle through it.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Tough it out, kid.
Yeah, that's it.
That's right, man. Oh, boy. I'll tell you, it's not easy being you, Tommy.
No.
Well, anyway, let's talk about the Celtics for a few moments. We talked about the Bruins because John called, and we were going to talk Bruins quick anyway because of the fact that they made a couple of moves, and they're playing so well. And tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, is March 1st, and this is when you want to be peaking.
That's right. Yeah, I feel like in the NHL, anyways, there's really kind of two milestones. It's that time right around Thanksgiving. Have you played yourself out of the playoffs by then? Because if there's one thing about the NHL that I really kind of appreciate is, you start losing games early in the season, it is very, very hard to get yourself back, into playoff contention. It's not like the NBA where you can rip off a run, 10, 12, 15 games in a row. And then obviously, I know the Bruins kind of, were hot last year going into the playoffs. It seemed like there was kind of the same buzz around the team last year, and obviously you run into Tampa Bay and you're losing 5. But something feels a little bit different about the team this year. There's a whole new level of toughness, I think, and I think you saw that last night. Obviously, Evander Kane goes in and does the reach around on Chara and choke slams him to the ground when he's not looking, and
that was brutal, wasn't it?
And I think as soon as Evander Kane saw Chara get up, he's like, oh no, what did I just get myself into?
Yep.
It's moments like that you see out of this team that's like, okay, there might be something there. And then obviously, you go to the trade deadline, and I think for most fans, myself included, I think you were looking for a little bit of a bigger splash. You talk about guys. We were sent around conversations with Mark Stone out of Ottawa, or Wayne Simmons out of Philadelphia, all guys who got moved, and it's like you put your hands up in the air like, what are we doing here? You trade a really young talent in Donato for a guy like Charlie Coyle, which, if you're going to trade a young talented guy like that, you'd like to think that there's a bigger move coming. But, after watching the game last night, it looks that maybe Don Sweeney played a little bit conservative. But, I think the young guys are finally kind of stepping into their own. As I said, Jake DeBrusk and even Danton Heinen are playing much better down this stretch, where you might be able to get away with that sort of conservative move.
For years, Bruins fans have always thought the same thing at deadline time was, what is this? We didn't do enough,
Yeah.
Why couldn't we get this guy? Like you said that, what's his name from Philadelphia?
Wayne Simmons.
Simmons, yeah, he got traded. Why couldn't he come this way, right? But the thing is, what are people telling you from the other end? On the other end of the phone, what are they saying? Oh yeah, we'll give you Simmons. We want this. We want this. You don't know what you can't disrupt. If you disrupt via trade, you're really hurting yourself. You're getting yourself behind the 8 ball.
Right, and I think that's a good point you make because
it is.
I think last year when we gave up the first round pick for Rick Nash, I think obviously Don Sweeney was a little gun shy, wanting to give up something like that this year. But it's a good point you made. I mean, you upgraded your team. And you didn't have to give anybody away from your active roster, right? You gave away Donato, which, some could say it's a little bit early to give up on a guy like that, but he wasn't playing, in the NHL. He was down in Providence. And then you go and you give a third and a fifth round pick to get Marcus Johansson, a guy who's been in the league, a number of years, 28 years old, somebody that, you can rely on a little bit more than, say, a guy like, Forsbacka Carlson or somebody else who's kind of been filling in that role as the winger on that second line. Now you got somebody a little bit more established.
Yeah, he's at the perfect age, 28 too. Perfect age, He's got all those rookie mistake years behind him, It takes 3 or 4 years, because I don't care what you say, in professional sports, you're still making blunders that you shouldn't make, after a few years. And
right.
Just talent alone and toughness will keep you there, keep you on the, up with the big club. So he gets to 28 years old. He's got it all worked out now. Mentally, he's got it worked out. And last night, the pass he made. The pass he made, he was 2 steps ahead.
Yeah,
he saw the dump coming off of his pass.
That was a really, and it was kind of, that stretch of goals that the Bruins had there. They scored 2 in 37 seconds, and I think the one that was netted by DeBrusk there from Johansson back, to Krejci to DeBrusk back door. It's like, man, these guys, this is the first time they've played together, and they're already making plays like that, and I think that's encouraging because for a guy like David Krejci, that's kind of the biggest piece of his game is he's known to be able to elevate players and to finally get obviously you got a young guy and a very talented player in Jake DeBrusk around him, but obviously like you said, a young kid still learning. Now you bring someone a little bit more solidified in to shore up that right side, and I think that's going to do wonders for Jake DeBrusk as well. Obviously a kid that's explosive, but maybe that frees him up a little bit too and doesn't make less thinking for him on his side. And
all the young guys are still wearing the same color sweater every time they step on the ice. None of them got moved,
Right.
And they're all shaky about that. They're
Absolutely.
all, I want to stay here, and their thoughts going to bed the night before the trade deadline, they're tossing and turning. And then when you don't hear your name called, go up and see the GM. He wants to talk to you. Go see coach or whatever. It's a godsend, that's all. It's a good feeling.
All right, gentlemen, let's welcome back to the program Eddie in Haverhill.
Eddie in Haverhill.
Welcome back, sir.
Eddie, how are you?
Good. I'm doing well. I love to hear the good hockey talk.
Good hockey.
The Bruins are, they're playing good hockey, and if you remember last year, this was around the time when, they put that big streak together and they got they got confidence going into the playoffs. But I think, like what you guys are saying, what makes it a little bit different is, now they got some guys, and especially David Krejci. He's had a pretty decent season this year. You know what I mean? And now you give him some help. That these other teams who are looking for DeBrusk or players like that or McAvoy. You know what I mean? They're not giving stuff away. And then let's think about it. Are you going to bring a guy in here and sign him to 8 years? The Bruins don't do that stuff. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And then if they do, you sign a guy and you give him a long-term deal, and he turns out, and it's happened with this team plenty of times in the past, and the guy doesn't pan out, and you're stuck holding the bag, and then when you want to go get somebody, your hands are tied. So I like what I see with them. You know what I mean? And
what's not to like right now?
I think the important thing too is obviously I said last year Sweeney goes out and gets a guy like Rick Nash. It has to give up a first-round pick, and that was for a rental. And I think this year, when you look at the moves that he made, obviously I think you were hoping for a little bit more fireworks, from a fan perspective. But the good thing is again, right, you didn't give anybody up off your active roster. And you also didn't get anybody on a rental, right? Charlie Coyle is going to be back for another year, and so is Johansson. I'm almost positive.
Yep.
I'd have to fact check that, but I think even if Johansson is a rental, you're only giving up a third and a fifth for him. It's not like you're going up and giving a first round pick for a guy that's darting at the end of the year.
And he's got experience, you know what I mean? It's like the guy's played, so that's what you're looking for, you know what I mean?
You're looking for somebody solid. Somebody solid.
Yep, absolutely. And I have to go into work in a few minutes, but the other thing I was going to touch on last week, what I called about was, and now there's been some other deals, but imagine Manny Machado getting $30 million a year, and he basically admits that hustle is really not part of his game.
Yeah.
It's just like, I just don't understand.
I think he hustled the San Diego Padres pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know if you were listening last week, Eddie, but I said last week he took $30 million a year to go vacation in Florida for 10 years, is what it sounded like.
Unbelievable.
Money Machado from now on, Eddie. That's his name. Money Machado.
I like that. I like that a lot.
All right, Eddie. You have a good night at work now. You be safe there.
All right, you too. Take care now.
All right, thanks for calling. Yep. Good night now.
What does Eddie do?
It's none of your business.
Well, it's like a family here.
It's none of your business.
You leave me out of the family.
Well, guess why you're sitting in another room. You feel like you're quarantined?
I'd be curious what he does, too. He's definitely working the graveyard.
He's going 6:30.
6:30 to what? 1, 2?
I don't know. I don't know what he does.
Yeah, it's probably 6 to 2.
It's 6:30. He's late.
6:30 to 2.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know.
I was asking for times. I was just wondering what he was doing.
No, you're looking for his occupation.
Yeah.
By title.
That's true. Not necessarily the hours.
Why don't you start when we get calls? Why don't you say, what do you do for work?
Yeah.
Oh, you're what? No, we don't take those people.
I'm not like that.
No, well, okay. Well, I was just making sure you weren't.
There was another point I wanted to make too, and I think it's something that kind of flies under the radar with this Bruins team, and there's a guy on the back end, Brandon Carlo, that I think is a very important piece to that D-core. And they haven't had him in the playoffs the last 2 years. I don't know if you remember, but last year, I think maybe 3 games left into the season, he goes out with a broken leg. And then obviously you're stuck kind of, plugging and chugging as you go on throughout the playoffs. And, I think he's an important piece back there. He's a guy that can move the puck through the neutral zone. He provides you a little bit of offense, and also a really solid player. So, knock on wood, but it's going to be really nice to have him, in the lineup, and being able to solidify, an important piece to that D-core for the Bruins.
Well, the more the merrier, the more healthy bodies you got.
And just FYI, just changing the subject, he's a personal trainer, our friend Eddie.
Wow.
'Tis the season.
Personal trainer, huh?
Yeah, for all those who haven't canceled
Was
their
that
New
him
Year's
that just called
memberships.
back?
Yes. I don't think he knew he was talking to me.
That's awesome.
Because producer Dave off the air and producer Dave on air are two totally different animals.
That's interesting.
You see him over at Choice, Paul?
I don't know.
Or he might be a Latitude guy.
I don't know.
I didn't ask that, but
well, I don't know where he's going. I wonder where he is.
He's definitely.
I don't want to give out where he works. I just want
to be quiet.
He's definitely not at Cedardale.
No.
No.
David.
That's a safe bet.
David.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell anybody where he works.
Well, that's what I was trying to tell you.
Yeah, I heard you. But you know why we're not going to tell anybody where he works? Because we don't know yet. When we find out, we'll tell people.
Oh yeah, well we can send him Eddie's way.
You know something? I just had a funny feeling that was him calling you back.
Yeah, that's what I had that same vibe as well.
So you must have had us on the radio in the car.
Or they don't have to go see Eddie, and they can just follow the Dave Morrison diet.
Honestly, yeah, the vegans.
That's right.
I know we got to go to break in a minute, but you want to hear something crazy? There's a woman that I work with who's on the keto diet. I know.
That's crazy.
I know nothing about this diet.
It's awful.
But she fasted for 42 hours.
That's dangerous.
She ate dinner. She was telling me she ate dinner on Monday, did not eat for an entire day yesterday, and then didn't eat until lunchtime today.
She's a lousy cook.
I will say this. The keto diet, all these fad diets, that's what they are. They're fads. You're fasting. You're gonna starve yourself later on.
You're not eating. Your stomach will shrink.
And I said, I said that I was like, something seems off about that. But she started going into the whole technical thing about, well, if you're ketosis, I think is what she called it. Yeah. Right? You're actually burning fat. You're not burning sugars when you fast. So
don't do that.
It's. I don't know.
I'm not going to sit here and say that everybody has to follow a certain diet. If it works for you, great. I'm not going to tell you not to do it, but let's not pretend that this is backed up by science and fact-based research, because it's not. Most doctors will tell you not to go on these crash diets or these fad diets. Yeah. South Beach, Atkins, and now keto. It just sounds awful.
Well, Tommy said a little while ago when we were talking to John about the Bruins, he said he was, about Simmons from Philadelphia getting traded, and right after that, Tommy mentioned something. Tommy said, I'd have to fact-check that. Tommy, there'll be no fact-checking on this show. I'll tell you why, because if there was, we'd be off the air. Okay? So let's just not go there.
Okay.
Now, when did this lady last eat prior to today?
So she said she had dinner at 6 o'clock on Monday.
6 o'clock Monday night.
Yeah, and then didn't eat all day on Tuesday.
All right.
But she said that she could drink water, coffee, tea, and she does like a pre-workout drink. That's all she had up until today at lunchtime.
She works out in
I don't know. I didn't get that far.
Why can't you just diet and exercise and consult a doctor, an actual doctor?
I don't know. I didn't get too far into it, but
no, I'm just speaking out loud. I'm not talking about your friend.
Yeah, it really kind of came out of the blue because she's been training, so she came in and she goes, I just ate for the first time in 42 hours, and I almost fell out of my chair. Like, I haven't eaten in 4 hours and I'm crying over here.
Well, that's probably what it is. She always sees you chewing. She's probably like, I've got to bring this up to her.
The Skittles diet.
Yeah. Skittle Morgan. All right, we got to take a break. Dave Morrison says it's break time, so we'll take a break. You, Eddie, you have a great night at work, my friend. And we're going to come back to more good sports right after this. 978-374-1900. That's the number. You can talk to the Millennial Magnet, Tommy Morgan. Mashed potato Morgan. All right, we'll be right back.
Good Sports will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. Good Sports is sponsored in part by attorney Gerard Laflamme of Haverhill.
It's 6:32.
Are you listening to WHAV on cable television? If so, join WHAV in thanking the board, staff, and members of your local public access channel.
Rock, roll, rock, roll.
She was known for an awful lot of great songs. Different Drum, You're No Good, When Will I Be Loved, That'll Be the Day, Heat Wave, Blue Bayou, It's So Easy, Oh Baby, Baby, and more. I'm talking about Linda Ronstadt. She's our Spotlight Artist this week here on the Rock and Roll Oldies Party. Our top 5 at 5 is out of 1967, and the Rolling Stones are at number 1. This is Dave Mack. Join me this Saturday beginning at 3 for the Rock and Roll Oldies Party here on the WAVE 97.9 FM WHAV.
Attorney Gerard Laflamme, born and raised in Haverhill, has been practicing law since 1980. A graduate of Haverhill High in 1971, as well as the University of Maine and the Ohio State School of Law. His main focus is on OUI and DWI. Attorney Laflamme is also licensed in New Hampshire. And in 2013, he was inducted into the UMaine Hall of Fame, where he held 15 school track records, including the school mile record, which he held for 41 years. Attorney Gerard Laflamme. 978-521-4737. Online at havlaw.com.
Wave weather.
Now your wave weather forecast for Haverhill in the Merrimack Valley. Winter weather advisory in effect until 7 a.m. A very snowy night ahead with around 3 to maybe upwards of 5 inches possible. Temperatures drop back to 17 degrees with a light breeze. For the day Thursday, any snow will move out before 9 a.m., becoming mainly sunny. Highs near 30 with a very light breeze. Thursday night, mostly clear, low 16. And upper 30s, mostly sunny for Friday. I'm WHAV meteorologist Brian Ivy. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents Good Sports with Paul Ryan and Tommy Morgan. Good Sports is sponsored in part by Haverhill attorney Gerard Laflamme. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Oh, you quick, Tommy. Wow, what a move that was.
Woo! Saved us.
You did. You kept us above board. All right. No pun intended. Okay. Now, we talked about the Bruins. We talked about the Celtics.
Have we talked about the Celtics yet?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Celtics. Yeah.
I don't want to get too much into it because
it's
such a
downer.
downer.
Drag.
They suck.
They're a drag. That's it. They're done. Cooked. Toast. Bye-bye. All right. What's going on with the Patriots? Anything new?
No, I don't think anything's been going on with the Patriots.
Nothing?
And I've heard there's been some stories, people associated with the Patriots. I haven't heard anything about the team.
Do you think the owner's really an associate?
I said associated.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, boy. I'll tell you. I'm glad I was in the house. I'm glad I was not driving anything.
You know, I wish I could say that I'm a little bit more surprised. I can't say that I'm honestly that surprised.
He's kind of, yeah.
He's weird.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, he's a little weird.
So I'm surprised you guys are actually going to talk about this. I was thinking in the back of my head, we're not going there. I could picture you, Paul, walking in saying before the show, we're not going there.
Nope.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
We got
it. Tommy B. But
that ain't the way I talk, Dave. That's Johnny Most. I am of courtside.
Oh, my God.
All right, Hondo. Bang!
I sound like Johnny Most. All right. Well, we've got John in Haverhill on the line. He wants to break the one-call rule and ask you another question.
Oh, this is Johnny calling back. Okay. Johnny, did you eat?
Yeah, hey, the whole thing on the diet thing, well, his one gentleman we've got to pull from, he's got to be immortal, Yarmeen Yaga. The guy looks like he did when he was 23.
And he's still playing.
What about Tom Brady, John? That guy's on an insane diet.
Oh, I know, but he eats weird. Yarmeen Yaga looks like he could eat like 20 burgers and like freaking still go hockey when he's 20.
He probably does. He comes off as that type of guy. He has a 30-pack and, a bag full of Big Macs.
I want to know his secret because I'm older than him, not by much, but I'm older than him, and I'm like, holy crap.
So I don't think the TB12 diet is based in science.
No, John.
But it doesn't want to stop me from trying it.
John, listen, can you do us a favor for next week's call?
Sure, do 2 calls?
No,
you can
call away.
You can do as many as you want. I want to see if you can find out what Yarmeen Yaga actually eats for a diet, because now you got me really curious.
It is a great question.
In the process of moving, but I'm going to try my damnedest, okay?
All right.
All right.
Go for it.
I'm not moving out of Haverhill, guys. Don't worry. I'm not moving out of Haverhill.
Are you moving out?
Huh?
Are you moving out of Haverhill?
No.
All right. That's good.
I'm moving up to the east side.
You're going to the east side?
No, I'm kidding. I'm going over.
Oh, like the Jeffersons, yeah. Moving on up. All right. You need some help moving?
No, I'm all set, guys. Thank you, though.
No, I wasn't going to help. Tommy was. I'm a supervisor. John, good luck to you.
Thank you, my friend.
All right.
Have a good night.
Take care. Bye-bye. I try to get your job, Tommy.
That's
a couple extra bucks.
That's all right. I've been going to the chiropractor. I got a bad back.
Yeah.
That's not science either. Chiropractors.
I don't think moving would be in my best interest. My doctor would tell me no.
Well, it's your doctor.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. You get back.
Do chiropractors go by doctors?
They claim to.
Well,
but there's a lot of people who swear by it, and then a lot of people think it's just a form of pseudoscience, like acupuncture.
Chiropractors aren't doctors. Did you ever see where they go to school?
No.
They go to these little schools out in the Midwest.
I always think that every time I walk...
They work out of bonds.
Every time I walk in there, I think they're wheeling me out in a wheelchair. Like I'm going to get up on the table, and there it is. I can't feel my legs anymore.
Oh, this isn't good.
Yeah,
I know.
That wasn't supposed to go like that.
It's like the ad. I like the ad on TV, and the guy's laying in the hospital bed. Doctor comes in and goes, "Hey, guess who just got reinstated?" Well, not quite, not yet.
You know what I'll say though, is the chiropractor I go to, really, really great guy. And I think he's a really good chiropractor. I mean, I don't really have a basis for it.
I swear that people who are close in my life, they go to one and they swear by it.
You know what? This guy is an even better businessman because you know what he does? I go in there on a Friday.
Well, he has a product to sell, but yeah.
And he's got me back in there on a Monday. No questions asked. Go in on a Monday, I'm back in there on a Friday.
He's a hell of a chiropractor.
That's it. He knows how to run the business.
What, are you kidding me?
I'm serious. I've been there like 4 times in the last 2 weeks.
Guy's in love with you?
Again, whatever works for you, Tommy. That's all I care about. If it works for you, great.
I'll tell you when I fell down the stairs
Oh, with the laundry.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah,
that was you.
Oh, that was me. That's
yeah,
right.
I fell down the stairs at Super Bowl. For like 2 weeks after, every time I sneezed, I thought I was never going to walk again.
Yeah.
Did you really think that way?
Oh man, I'm telling you, I was hurting every time I would sneeze. And I'm like, this isn't right. So I went to the chiropractor. Next day, I was a little bit better.
Where did it hurt? Exactly.
Like right down on the left side of my lower back.
Your lumbar region?
Yeah.
Don't you just want to go to physical therapy? Wouldn't your primary care physician recommend going to a physical therapist? Because that's what I did when I threw my rotator cuff back in high school, throwing the shot put in the discus.
You know, I only see my primary care physician once a year. Knock on wood. I've been knocking on wood a lot tonight.
Yeah, we should stop. I keep looking at the door.
All right, anyways,
I keep looking at the door.
I didn't mean to get sidetracked because I do want to.
No,
that's because that's what happens when you.
Yeah, I do want to talk about the Kraft situation though.
All right, well,
go for it.
You should have gone to a chiropractor.
And we are not going to mention the comments.
What comments?
Well, Allison from our news department here at WHAV, we were reading the comments last week when the story broke, and I think one of the channels in Boston, or the comment section on Facebook regarding the Kraft scandal, because it is a scandal, just the comments. We're not going to go there. We're not going to read any of them, but you go online when you guys have a free moment and read them yourselves.
There's a lot of good. They're
gold.
The content around this is phenomenal. They named
pure gold.
They named a sandwich after him down at a restaurant in Florida. You know, it's oh yeah.
Yeah, what's the name of it?
The pulled pork sandwich.
Oh no! See, now you can't. Oh my god.
Why can't we? Too late.
Anyways,
Tim's ripping his hair out and worrying about the FCC calling.
What hair?
See, that was you, not me.
Anyways,
it was me.
As I was saying, I'm not really surprised by this at all. I am a little surprised at maybe kind of the destination where he was going for. You know, a billionaire. He could probably afford a little bit more than $59 at the Asia Orchid Spa. But ever since Myra Kraft died, I think he's been a little bit out there.
Oh no, he had a girlfriend like within weeks of her passing, which was a red flag.
There's one thing I've noticed too. After games or any games where he's kind of got a public speak, you ever think that maybe he's drunk? You ever think that maybe there's like maybe a little bit of an alcohol issue there?
Possibly. I don't want to make presumptions about the guy. Let's not do that. I mean, that's
he's just an observation.
Yeah, I'm just observing.
The guy's still got 77 years old. He's still got more money than half the people in Haverhill.
Well, that's true.
All right,
no argument there.
So let's put it this way: the guy made a bad choice. Okay, I've made bad decisions in my life. You have too. You have too. Everybody does it. Guess what? It's really not fun when you get caught.
Right.
Because you got to look yourself in the mirror every day when you shave and think, what a stupid jerk I am.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing. He's kicking himself in the butt for it.
And that's the thing too, because right around. Now all you're hearing is kind of, lawyer this, lawyer that, and it sounds like he's ready to lawyer up. And, if I'm him, I mean, you have such this great reputation and, you've done a lot for charity and, you're a very well-respected figure, not just in football, but in sport in general. Doesn't it look a lot better if you just, come forward and say, I made a mistake?
Yeah.
Is that too above him?
Yeah, well, you know what?
It's coming.
I would hope so.
It's got to before he gets arraigned. He doesn't even have to go to the arraignment. His lawyer can go.
Yeah,
which I never agree with. I mean, you should be in that situation. You got to be in that.
Not if you're Bob Kraft.
That's nothing. They do it to other people too. So the thing is,
there are certain rules for people who have means of wealth.
Here's what I said the day that I heard about it. Okay, that day. Because I went out after I'd heard about it for a little bit, met a friend of mine, had a cold beer, and my idea was this. The guy's got how many billions? Plenty.
6 at least.
He's got plenty of billions, right? B's. These are with a B, folks. Have you seen Christy Brinkley lately? She's
Billy Joel's ex?
Yeah, she's 65 years old. She's a year younger than me. She looks like she's 30, okay? She looks like $1 million. He could pick up the phone or have one of his people pick up the phone and call her people and say, Christy, I'll give you $1 million just to hang out with me for a weekend.
Right.
All right?
Well,
it'd be much better look for him, even though he'd still look like her grandfather, because it's unbelievable how she looks. But age difference, and it's just not as seedy. This was seedy.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm, like I said, I'm not knocking him for, he doesn't do it all the time, but he get caught. When's the last time a Bentley pulled into that strip mall?
Right. 2 days in a row.
2 days in a row. That's the worst part.
Yeah.
Before we go to break, I just think it would be so sad for Bob Kraft and his legacy to come crashing down in a East Florida strip mall. That's just the most embarrassing part. I'm aghast by all of this because you think, A, with his money, he would be a lot smarter, and B, because the report says that there's a bigger name involved.
Yeah, but that's a hope.
So this brings me back to my point, and maybe it's I don't know what he's got going on. It's obvious that he's battling something.
Yeah.
It might not be alcohol, but it feels to me like whatever he's not thinking clearly. There's something going on there. Whether it's depression or he's battling loneliness. I don't know. It's something.
I think he and Myra were real tight. She's been dead like 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah,
5 years.
Yeah, 6, 7 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were tight, and that was a big loss for him. And she was the backbone of the organization,
right,
making some of the decisions as far as who's coming into play and who's not coming into play.
Mm-hmm.
She had a voice in that. And the thing is, the guy's lonely. I mean, he's down in Jupiter, Florida, where half the people are just as cuckoo as him.
Right.
Okay?
Oh, boy, that's a hit on Florida.
No, it's not. It's a hit on Jupiter. Jupiter's out of this world, right? That's what those people are. They're out of their minds. But they got all their money. They got all the money, and that's the worst thing. Money can be a very, very detrimental thing to some people. And Mr. Kraft, if you would have told me, okay, after they beat Kansas City, where do you think Bob Kraft was this morning? And you said, oh, he's at a strip plaza in Jupiter, Florida, seeing some geisha girls in a massage studio. I said, what?
Massage parlor, yeah.
What? Come on, stop it. And then he flew to Kansas City. He walked out of the Asian spa and he said, I'm going to Kansas City.
Oh, you.
Kansas City.
I knew you were going to do that.
I'm going to Kansas City.
Going to Houston.
No, that's Dean Martin. This is Robert Kraft. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to be right back, 978-374-1900. We're going to talk more. When we come back, remind me to mention Jonathan Kraft.
Sure.
We'll be right back.
Good Sports will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. Good Sports is sponsored in part by attorney Gerard Laflamme of Haverhill.
The Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom turns out local programs every day and night. Tune in for local news, community spotlight, and the open mic show. 97.9 WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source. There's always more at WHAV.net.
Paul Ryan, Haverhill High School class of 1971, and Tommy Morgan, Haverhill High School class of 2013, are Good Sports. They're on 97.9 WHAV FM every Wednesday night from 6 till 8. Ryan and Morgan talk about local high school sports, the Patriots, Red Sox, Bruins, Celtics, and more. You can join in with your calls. Good Sports is sponsored in part by Haverhill attorney Gerard Laflamme. Good Sports every Wednesday night at 6 on the WHAV 97.9 WHAV FM.
WHAV.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents Good Sports with Paul Ryan and Tommy Morgan. Good Sports is sponsored in part by Haverhill attorney Gerard Laflamme. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Back here, 978-374-1900. Good sports on a mild February evening. It was nice out this morning, huh? Beautiful.
It was okay.
I started my
8
car.
degrees.
I started my car so early this morning that by the time I got out there, the automatic starter shut the car off because I had it running too long.
It's your fault.
That's how cold it was.
Well,
I needed to get ahead of it.
Did you go and have another breakfast sandwich?
No, I went down and started it right after I got out of the shower, and I guess it's on a timer. I didn't know. I found out this morning.
It's that keto diet.
Yeah.
You're getting slower. All right. Jonathan Kraft, as I mentioned before we went to break. Now, Jonathan Kraft, who was in his hip pocket all the time, at the games, we see that picture of them up there, that CBS puts them on all the time, and it just seems to me that I think Tommy touched on something. I think Mr. Kraft is, and I say Mr. Kraft with all due respect, that he has crossed the line somehow, not in a bad way. I think mentally, just think about it. 2 days in a row.
Right.
Did you get the pictures? Did you find those pictures I told you I saw online?
No.
My goodness. I saw pictures of the young ladies that are trapped in that dungeon, all day long, and they get to eat burgers off a grill out they cook out back, or rice.
Is that what they eat?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's miserable.
They're in there 24 hours a day. They can't leave.
Oh, I believe it. I didn't know that that's what they're eating. Jeez.
Yeah. So the fact of the matter, one day, okay. 2 days back to back, something's gone haywire.
Right. And,
something's wrong.
You just think about it. I mean, a guy who, is obviously an incredible businessman who, has to have, worldly smarts, and, he's pushed all the right buttons in his entire life, and, he's gotten, this organization to a point it's, well respected, not only in the United States, but I think it's, across the world that, people know who the New England Patriots are. And, just to me, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up with this kind of, foolishness, really. And like you said, we all make mistakes, and but it does seem like this is something that really kind of was never on the radar. With this guy.
He could, we'll see what his defense is, because he may be seeing a physician. Doctor might, let's hope it's not an early onset type of thing.
Right.
Yeah,
and
I didn't consider that, but you're probably right. Occam's razor.
It could be, you just don't want to hear that, because he's part of our fabric, you know, and that's why we're all concerned about it.
Well, I don't think anybody's going to
Am I mad at him? I am if he's okay.
Yeah.
I'm mad at him. He's mad at himself if he's okay. But I don't know. We'll find out.
Well, I don't think it takes away from anything that he has done around here in Boston, but as a person, being involved in this, he is complicit, because these women are slaves.
Yeah, but
that's misery.
Yeah, but Dave, to that point, I don't, I know that there's a whole nother much bigger issue wrapped up in this. Obviously, human trafficking is grotesque, and obviously not something that we want going on. But in Robert Kraft's defense, I don't think that he was walking into that massage parlor, knowing that these women were sex slaves or anything like that. In his mind, I think that he was just going in there for one thing. And it turned out to be much bigger than that. But I don't think that you can kind of hold the sex trafficking thing against him, because, like I said, I think that that's completely separate from what he was doing.
Well, let's pretend he did. Well, let's not pretend he didn't know.
It's the old, it's the old line. No, it's what did he know and when did he know it? Okay,
fair enough.
He might not have known a thing. Okay, if you, me, Tommy, if one of us three walks in there, and you're talking to one of these young ladies that are trying to make a living being a slave, okay, and you say, well, so where do you live around here? And she points in that room. No, really, where do you live? In that room.
Yeah, but
you start to think to yourself, what's going on here?
Right, but and I don't want to try to dissect what's going on in that particular place because that might not even come up in conversation.
Right.
Like I'm sitting here and I'm genuinely telling you that Robert Kraft did not have any. He did not have any knowledge of the whole sex trafficking piece to this. What is going on here?
Are we sure about this?
No.
I mean, let's hope.
We'll never be.
Right.
We'll never be 100% sure, but. Or maybe we will. But I'm telling you, as Robert Kraft is walking in there, I think he had one thing on his mind, and wasn't even thinking about the whole sex trafficking piece to it. And for that, I think like I said, we can go back to it, and I think he can, come on and do an interview and just openly admit that he made a mistake. And, I think people will get past that, right? Everybody's got skeletons.
Well, people around here in Boston, but the rest of the country, do you think they're rooting on the Bob Kraft and the Patriots right now?
No, but they never are.
Well, no, but now this gives them fuel.
Well, so did Deflategate, but that obviously went out. We won another. You know what I mean? Like I think
I think tampering with balls is a synthetic equipment is a little different than actually going into a massage parlor and human trafficking.
But you can go look at Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts. He gets caught. It's OUI, prescription pills. $60,000 cash in his car.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like, in my opinion, that's much worse.
Absolutely,
I agree.
Than what Robert Kraft did, and that's not even talked about anymore.
But we're talking about levels of severity, and we're going to compare. If we're going to do that, then we need to actually look at the issue. Yes, Jim Irsay did something completely horrific, but the rest of the country isn't going to hate the Colts the way that they hate the New England Patriots, because guess what? If the Indianapolis Colts won had 6 rings and had Tom Brady, or Andrew Luck was just one of the greatest of all times, it would be a little different.
Right,
we'd be calling for Jim Irsay's
head.
Right,
but David, to my point when I said they already hate him, right? Whether Kraft did this or not, right? That their agenda and their thoughts of the Patriots were never going to change anyways. So yeah, right? Like maybe this Robert Kraft thing does throw fuel to the fire, but if those people didn't already like the Patriots, then you know what I mean? It's already been set in stone. You know what I mean? If this Robert Kraft thing didn't happen, they already hate the Patriots. You know what I mean? So it's like, but as a person, I mean, I think that if Robert Kraft does, come out and admit, and that's what I think the right thing is if he comes out, admits his wrong, admits he made a mistake, he's a human being. Human beings make mistakes. I feel like, as a person or persons, you can look at that and say, all right, the guy made a mistake. He owns up to it. He's going to take his medicine, and you move on.
But do you think he's sorry, like Paul said? He's sorry he got caught.
I think he's very sorry. I guarantee he is. I'm guaranteeing he's very sorry.
That he got caught, ...
No, I'm guaranteeing right now that he's on his knees every night praying to Myra for forgiveness. I'll guarantee you that he is.
Wow. All right. Well,
that's
a bold prediction. That's some good foresight, though.
Well, he's the last guy for the Patriots to run the fly pattern since Terry Glenn.
Are we hitting the break?
We'll be back right after the news, 7 o'clock straight up. Stay with us, WHAV 97.9. We'll be back.
It's 6:59.
WHAV LP Haverhill.
Here's the latest WHAV news. I'm Wynn Damon. At last night's Haverhill City Council meeting, Police Chief Alan Denaro addressed the department's plan to combat gang-related violence. Denaro telling the councilors that he has spoken in depth with Mayor James Fiorentini over the past few days about the recent shootings and stabbings. One of the challenges that Denaro and his officers face is when shooting victims, most of which, he says, belong to a gang, refuse to come forward to police.
When they're shot, they don't cooperate with us. A lot of times they will tell us absolutely nothing because they want to handle it themselves.
And Denaro says his department is working with inner-city youth groups to help curb violence.
We're working intimately with the Boys and Girls Club. We are doing summer camps. We can use police officers as well as some coaches from the public to mentor some of these young men and women and see if we can kind of get them focused in the right direction early.
Residents have been on high alert following a series of violent incidents. Following 2 fatal shootings and stabbings over the last 9 months, Haverhill City Council President John Mitchison expressed serious concern for the safety of his constituents. Also at last night's Haverhill City Council meeting, concerned neighbors spoke out against a proposed solar farm in Haverhill. Hexagon Energy requested a hearing to grant a special permit to install a solar energy facility at 1037 Broadway, but neighbors and some councilors expressed skepticism about the details of the plan. Scott Reamer, development manager for Hexagon Energy, told Haverhill City councilors that he has met with city planners and engineers about the parcel, and that one of the conditions of the special permit is that the property is brought up to code.
It's enough to power approximately 40 homes. It's not massive, it's a small array. The actual panels themselves will sit on about 1.5 acres.
But not everyone was impressed with Hexagon's proposal. Diane Hudson, who lives at 28 Christine Lane, worried about the long-term value that these panels would have on her property.
I still think this is about money rather than about anything else. Nobody's really caring about the people on Christine Lane. What we're caring about, if we're here, is that Hexagon makes some money for 20 years.
Despite the opposition, in a 7-2 vote, Haverhill City Councilors passed a resolution to continue the hearing at a future City Council meeting. And Massachusetts State Police report a fatal one-car crash shortly before 3 o'clock this morning. It occurred on the Marston Street 495 ramp in Lawrence. The victim's name has not been released at this time. And winner cake all indeed. Haverhill's Aaron Erler and Christine Barton of the Broadway Bake Shop Cakes by Aaron took home a cool $10,000 Monday night on the Food Network competition series Winner Cake All. Tasked with designing a cake for comedian Lonnie Love and the Improv Comedy Club, Erler and Barton chose to pay tribute to several of the club's famous comedians like Joan Rivers and Robin Williams. They flavored their cake with chocolate and salted caramel. As Erler and Barton told WHAV before Monday's episode, they had 5 hours to construct the cake when the episode was filmed last October. Typically, the bakers would prefer 24 hours to craft a similar dessert. And if you ask Kathy Diamantopoulos, beauty is all around Haverhill. After all, the snapshot that she captured during a walk at Trinity Stadium last summer just won the People's Choice Award in a regional photo contest sponsored by the Essex National Heritage Commission. Delivering on the contest request to capture the living landscapes that make the Essex County special, Diamantopoulos will see her winning photo, selected by social media users, on display at the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission office at 160 Main Street in Haverhill for the next year. Taking a look at WHAV Sports, the Celtics are in action tonight hosting the Trailblazers while the Bruins have the night off, and the Red Sox have an exhibition game today against the Orioles. On the high school tournament scene, in Division I boys basketball, Haverhill is going to be at Lawrence tonight in a first-round game. And Central Catholic has advanced to the quarterfinals. In Division II boys basketball, North Andover is in the quarterfinals. And in Division III basketball, the Pentucket boys are also in the quarterfinals. In girls basketball, Division I, tomorrow night, Central Catholic takes on Billerica in the quarterfinals. And Haverhill is at Peabody on Friday night in the quarterfinals. Division II girls basketball, tomorrow night, Pentucket hosts Wilmington. In boys hockey, Division II, both North Andover and Pentucket were eliminated in the first round last night. In girls hockey, Division I, the Methuen-Tewksbury squad is in the first round, but their opponent still hasn't been announced yet. And in Division II, Central Catholic lost to Matignon yesterday in a preliminary round game. And the Valley Junior Warriors are on the road today. They are playing the Boston Junior Rangers. Remember, WHAV is the only Haverhill-based news source, and there's always more at WHAV.net, where you can sign up for the free newsletter. From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, this is Win Damon.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Nick Harper. US President Donald Trump's former lawyer has told Congress his boss is a racist, a conman, and a cheat, and suspects him of collusion with Russia. Tensions have escalated between India and Pakistan, with Pakistan saying it shot down 2 Indian fighter jets over Kashmir. And US President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un have kicked off their second summit in Hanoi, Vietnam.
WAVE weather.
Now your wave weather forecast for Haverhill in the Merrimack Valley. Winter weather advisory in effect until 7 a.m. A very snowy night ahead with around 3 to maybe upwards of 5 inches possible. Temperatures drop back to 17 degrees with a light breeze. For the day Thursday, any snow will move out before 9 a.m., becoming mainly sunny. Highs near 30 with a very light breeze. Thursday night, mostly clear, low 16. And upper 30s, mostly sunny for Friday. I'm WHAV meteorologist Brian Ivy. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
Public radio for Greater Haverhill. This is 97.9 WHAV. Broadcasting on the Armstrong FM system. This is 97.9 WHAV.
Catch the wave, WHAV, Merrimack Valley.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents Good Sports with Paul Ryan and Tommy Morgan. Good Sports is sponsored in part by Haverhill attorney Gerard LaFlamme. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Back here. Well, we are back here. Here we are. We're back. 978-374-1900. That's right. 53 years before I was born. Think about that. Think about it.
I am.
Okay. Anyway, so, all right, Robert Kraft's son, Jonathan. Did we talk about this?
We started to.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I get interrupted. I think that the fact of the matter is, he's tight with his father, obviously. And, you got to start, worrying, you don't want Daddy to go squander the eggs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because...
we're just making so many jokes we don't even realize that I'm just...
No, that wasn't a joke. I'm talking about the wealth. That he could... If there's something wrong with him mentally, because this is not the actions of somebody that's solid.
Right.
Okay? And, if it's alcohol, it could be drugs, you never know. Who knows? He might have been prescribed something for a bad back. Who knows? I mean, it happens. But the thing is... If the guy has something that's, hopefully not, mentally wrong, that, he could get waylaid by anybody, talked into anything, he could sign the whole fortune over to somebody, you never know it.
Yeah.
You just don't know what's going on in somebody's head, how sick the guy could be.
Right.
Because every picture I've seen of him since then, it's like nothing happened.
Right.
That's scary. That's the scary part to me.
The whole...
He's spry for 77. Not to be ageist.
Right. The whole thing for me, right, is obviously there's a succession plan in that ownership group, right? Obviously, once the time is right, Robert Kraft is going to start weaning himself out, and it's Jonathan Kraft's team to oversee as the years go on. But I just don't think it's that easy.
No,
you know what I mean? Obviously, Robert Kraft is, like I said, built this from really the ground up when you look at it, and
from an aluminum seat.
Right. He's done an incredible job, with the business and the Kraft ownership group and all that, and it's obviously something that he still is very, very passionate about. I mean, you can see it every Sunday he's at the game. The extravagant ring ceremonies he puts on after seasons that we win, and the whole 9 yards with the whole thing. It's obviously something that he is he cares about and greatly. I just don't know how easy it would be for that process. Maybe this does speed that process up a little bit, but I just don't know by how much.
Well, when we were at break and we had a little conversation out there in the foyer, I agree with you 100%. I think rehab's the next step because we're going to find something that's alcohol-induced or something like that.
Well, and here's the thing with that, and you saw it out of similar to maybe like a Tiger Woods situation, right? Obviously, Tiger Woods was doing things that obviously he's not proud of, and he had to go to rehab and seek help, and look at what he is now. You know what I mean? Everybody loves him. He's loved.
Who's this now?
Tiger Woods.
Oh, Tiger. Do they actually do they actually love him? And is he not named in the report? And that's just my mom's theory.
No,
he lives not too far from the massage parlor.
Yeah, but he has.
I don't live too far from New York, but I had nothing to do with the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What do you mean, whoa?
Oh, let's not go there.
Well, I'm just making a stupid statement like you did.
No. You don't live. You don't.
Hold on. Time out. Everybody, be quiet. Listen. Tiger Woods' name has not come out in the report, nor do I think it's going to. But what I'm saying is I'm comparing it, right? I mean, Tiger Woods at one point was at an extremely low point in his life with, sex addiction and all that sort of stuff. Had the 9-iron thrown through his back windshield, and what he did was he apologized and he sought help. Now he's back in the limelight, and I know that he may not be loved by all, but the number of support, the number of fans that are back supporting him is well,
that was different. He was having an extramarital affair. This is human trafficking.
No, it's not human trafficking, though. It's not.
It's not? So these women weren't sent from...
They could have been, but that's not what... Robert Kraft was not ordering the women to come over from...
No, but they're going to say that he was complicit in this...
No, they're not. He was charged with first class misdemeanor for soliciting sex acts.
All right, let's hear what Bill Ellis has to say. Bill Ellis calling in from Dedham. Go ahead, sir.
Hello there. How's everybody tonight?
Bill, hi. How are you?
Good, sir. Geez, I'm surprised nobody's brought up on the videotape that Robert Kraft asked the woman, "Do you mind if I call you Giselle?"
Oh my God,
Bill.
How you doing?
I knew that you were off center. I knew it. I knew it.
About the human trafficking thing. If he knew about that, he should be charged up the yin-yang.
Of course.
That's a terrible, terrible thing. But I agree. I don't think he knew. And I'm sure he wasn't real inquisitive, when he went in there asking these girls where they were from. I'm sure there wasn't a whole lot of conversation.
Exactly. And I also think that going 2 days in a row is the thing that really causes an alarm with me. The guy would be seen in the same place 2 days back to back. Driving up in front of the place with a Bentley, somebody dropping you off. Who's driving him, Gronk? But it's until we know the truth, we'll never know the truth anyway. But we probably
was it one of the days, the day that they were playing the Kansas City?
Yeah, the second day was the day he was playing Kansas City. He flew out of there that afternoon, I guess, out to Kansas City. But you know what? I'll tell you, I think that. He's going to go to rehab. I think there's something. I think he's overindulging in alcohol. I think Tommy hit it on the head. I think it's pretty, not obvious, but I think he does have a slurry. He kind of gets his lips get like earthworms banging into each other when he talks there after those games sometimes. So be it. He has a couple of cocktails up in his booth. The guy's built that whole franchise, that stadium. What a beautiful stadium, and we wouldn't have football if our team would be in St. Louis, because that's where they were headed. But he's done some wonderful things. He's a human being. He proved that to all of us, didn't he?
He did. But there have been other sports figures in years past. I mean, Tiger Woods, obviously, but Babe Ruth was not a saint, and there was a lot about him that was never covered. There was a story that I read one time. Back those days, they traveled by train, and Babe Ruth ran through the sports writer's train car in the nude, and there was a woman chasing him with a knife. And one of the writers said, "Did you see that?" He said, "No." "Did you?" He said, "No." Because they didn't want to write about stuff like that about Babe Ruth.
Right. They asked Babe Ruth. They said, "Babe Ruth, gee, you're getting paid $100,000 a year. You're making more than the president." He said,
"He had a better year.
I had a better year than he did." That was for the younger guys here. So Billy, how you doing?
I am excellent. How about yourself?
No, not too bad. Not too bad. The little snow tonight, and just a light little 3 to 5 inches. Stuff like soap detergent. It's going to be light as a feather. And
it won't be long before spring will be rolling around the corner.
Oh, I hope so. Because how cold was it? How cold in Dedham was it this morning?
It was pretty cold this morning.
Yeah, it was 8 degrees.
What it was, I don't know. But
8 degrees when I get in my car. Oh,
yeah.
And that was at
But,
7:15.
I don't mind the cold. It's the wind that's the problem.
Oh, the wind was rough the last couple of days. Poor neighbor.
The wind,
He had
the
a
wind creates issues with me. I don't, because again, it magnifies the cold 10 times.
Yeah, it's brutal. I was coming out of the gym yesterday, and then all of a sudden, this big waft came through the parking lot. I'm walking in my car, and I'm dripping wet with sweat, and it was incredible. I just like an icicle went right through me.
It'll blow you into Market Basket.
I'm sorry, you came and broken up. So you were dripping wet from the massage parlor, you said?
Oh God, no.
Bill, give us a call next week.
What's that?
Give us a call next week.
Yeah, so when you went to the massage parlor, did the girl say she loved you a long time?
Oh my God.
All right, Bill Ellis.
Enjoy your night, Jensen.
Bill Ellis.
You're listening.
Better than
Thank
ever.
you, Bill.
Thank you, Bill. Have a good night, my friend.
That's
Bye-bye.
Thank you. That's Bill Ellis from Open Mic right here on 97.9 WHAV every Monday night,
You like
6 to
that,
8
Tom?
p.m.
All right. Hey, Dave, you know what? We got to take a break.
I believe so.
7:16. You're slipping. It's a good thing I'm here.
By 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it takes in this.
I am
league.
slipping. That's right.
All right. We're going to be back with more good sports. Glad Bill Ellis is out of the way now. That's good. And he's a funny guy. He's got some great ones, that's for sure. And we're going to be back 978-374-1900. Paul Ryan, Tommy Morgone, and Dave Morrison on the keys. We'll be right back.
Good Sports will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. Good Sports is sponsored in part by attorney Gerard Laflamme of Haverhill.
For more in-depth coverage of the news, visit WHAV's website at whav.net.
Open mic.
Hi, it's Bill Masick from the Open Mic Show. Join me every Monday night from 6 until 8 for top stories, sports, entertainment, special guests, your calls, and so much more. Join me Monday night for a very special show when our guests will be State Representative Linda Dean Campbell and in the second hour, Haverhill Mayor James J. Ferrantini. Make sure to listen and even call in 6 to 8 Monday night right here and only on the Open Mic on WHAV 97.9 FM.
Community Spotlight.
Have extra time on your hands and a desire to give back to the community? Family Services of the Merrimack Valley seeks adults to mentor area children ages 6 to 14 as part of the Big Friends, Little Friends program. Mentors are asked to commit to meet with their young match twice a month for a minimum of a year. Couples, spouses, friends, co-workers, or families are able to volunteer jointly as mentors. Matches are made with consideration of shared interests and location. To learn more about the program, call Jenny at 978-327-6681. Submit your own nonprofit events and announcements at least 3 weeks in advance. For best results, use the online form under the Contact tab at WHAV.net. In the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, I'm Eric Scott.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents Good Sports with Paul Ryan and Tommy Morgan. Good Sports is sponsored in part by Haverhill attorney Gerard Laflamme. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Paul Ryan, Tommy Morgan, Dave Morrison back. Good Sports. The last Wednesday in February, folks. March is right around the corner. You know the old saying about March, right? In like a lion, out like a lamb. You too young for that, Tommy?
No.
That's
and I also know April showers bring May flowers.
And what do May flowers bring?
I have no idea.
Pilgrims.
Oh.
Cheap.
I thought that was November.
What's November?
Yeah, but the Mayflower was the ship, right?
Oh, Mayflower. Yeah. Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
You see, I knew that. And then we had the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria.
Yeah.
Little history lesson there.
Here's another history lesson.
Go ahead.
Who was the first person to discover America? This one's for you, Tommy.
Ponce de Leon.
No. A little lighter in the skin. A little lighter. Leif Erikson.
Very good. Very good. All right, let's get back to sports.
Good idea.
Okay, the Red Sox. They're down there in spring training. Beautiful weather. And who's this guy that hit the 2-3 run homers back-to-back? Young kid.
You haven't
followed? You don't get that channel?
No.
Oh, let's go. Start waking it up. You say, you want to move in and take my show over. I mean, the word's out on the street, I've heard. But that's all right.
There's nothing.
Huh?
Off-season baseball just.
Preseason baseball.
Preseason baseball. It just doesn't do it for me.
Oh, you don't look forward to those at Northeastern BC Boston Red Sox duels?
That's easy for you to say, Dave.
No, not really, because I just botched that.
Yeah.
I'm only teasing.
I mean, those games are cool, obviously, for the young kids, but it's not something I'm investing my time in.
So Carlos Peña's with Nesson now?
Is he?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
He's been doing the games on the radio. Color.
On what, on EEI?
Oh, Nesson.
Yeah, Nesson.
Nesson.
It's been a revolving door.
Well, I just saw that Eckersley inked a 5-year deal with them.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Eckersley's
He's doing 80 to 90 games with Nesson.
And he's going to be doing about 30 with them with Jerry Remy, which will be really cool.
Oh, boy.
Do you guys think that it feels like this is a slow decline for Jerry Remy? And I'm not going to get into the whole personal matters with Jerry Remy because that's been talked about for years. Everybody has their own opinions, but do you wonder?
I was thinking about this the other day. I
mean, given his health, I mean, you have to wonder how long he can keep doing this.
Yeah, and that was the first thing I was going to say. Obviously, a guy that's been battling illness, but I go back to when Nesson ripped Don Orsillo out of the booth, right? I mean, those two guys had serious, chemistry in the booth, and obviously two guys that, enjoyed being around each other, enjoyed doing games together. Tom O'Brien is just
Dave O'Brien.
I'm sorry, Tom O'Brien's the AD at Haverhill High. Dave O'Brien, I mean, I just don't know if that's working with Jerry Remy because it's obvious, and the times that I notice it is when he's in the booth with Eck, the way that those two guys are going back and forth talking about the game, and things like that. Jerry Remy still has his fastball, I think. I just don't know if it's working out with Dave O'Brien. And I feel bad, you could see it in Orsillo's very last game. Remy, was visibly upset. And, I know it's a business, but, those two had built something together for a long time. And then they go and they take Orsillo out. Right? That's going to hurt a guy. And, I think it's kind of hurt the broadcast a little bit as well.
Remy used to crack Orsillo up.
Those two were great.
Remy would cut him up about his clothes and his ties, and Remy was good. He was on fire with that.
I mean, that was some of the best. That was some of the best about their broadcast was, the laughs that they had and things like that. And there were some memorable moments of those guys just laughing.
Did I tell you a story? Did I say it? I might have said it last fall. We might have talked about Jerry Remy last fall on the show. But the night that Judge Judy went up to the booth as a guest in the booth, Orsillo, Remy, and Judge Judy comes into the booth, all right? And they're interviewing her and talking like that, and she's having her fun with them and all that stuff, like that. So they're enthralled with her because, she's a successful woman, obviously. Her own TV show, she's a judge. So, okay, who are you here with, Judge? Well, my grandkids are sitting right down behind the third base dugout like that. And they put the camera on the kids are waving up to Grammy like that. She left him down there with the grandfather or some friend or something like that. She didn't leave him alone. But, so okay. It goes on for half an inning. Then next thing you know, they break and they come back. And Remy says, she's quite a judge. He goes, she walked out of here. She stole our Dunkin' Munchkins. They're gone. She took the whole box with her. He goes, what kind of a judge is she? She's a thief. And it went on and on. And they're showing the kids stuffing their face down in the box seats. with the Munchkins. It was hilarious. It was so funny. 2 innings later, Remy go, look, she's got powder on the side of her face. She doesn't even know she's got evidence all over her. Oh, it's awful. Gee, it was so funny. Sillo's cracking up. He almost fell out of the booth, I think. It was really, really good.
Well, here's the thing about that. They redefined the way that sports, play-by-play guys call a baseball game, because before it was just cut and dry, and you could tell that they redefined it just by having fun. You mentioned this, Tommy, just cracking up. So, for example, if the Red Sox were way ahead or way behind, they would just get silly, and there would be Wally. They'd have the little Wally right there in the Adirondack chair, and they just start, and my father would point that out. And then they had the fans. They interacted with the fans. They're the first play-by-play guys to really do that. Everybody, I know my aunt, they would go down to spring training, and they would make the signs, hey, Don and Jerry, and they were the first to do that. And, they redefined that.
And that's kind of the thing, right, is obviously, Remy, because when he talks about the game of baseball, he's obviously still got it.
Oh, yeah.
But there was something unorthodox to that broadcast that those two did. And then you bring in a guy like Dave O'Brien, who's kind of more of that X's and O's style. Just wants to call.
Which some people like that,
right?
Right. I'm that type.
And he likes to call balls and strikes and hits and home runs, and there's really not much charisma to what he's doing in the booth, and I think that's what Jerry Remy was able to thrive on with Orsillo.
Dave O'Brien is not a TV guy; he's a radio guy.
Yeah,
he's got a great voice for radio. He's a radio man. He really is. That's what he is. Jerry Remy couldn't do radio because taking the headshots of him in the booth when he's laughing and joking and screwing around, that's worth $1 million.
Right.
An advertiser will like to being plugged. Oh, yeah, that's right. You just had a cold beer, like that. And they take a shot of Remy up there laughing, having fun. It's just, this act can only work in Boston.
Right.
It can only work in Boston. This couldn't work anyplace else. It couldn't work in L.A.
And I think, right, I think if it was up to, right, so obviously when Don Orsillo was asked to leave, that went over like a lead balloon, across Red Sox Nation. And, I think they kept Jerry Remy there because he was so beloved. I think if it was up to Nesson.
Well, was he really beloved at that point because of everything that happened?
Absolutely.
Really? There were a lot of people, just on Facebook, and there was a lot of backlash following everything that happened with.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but I think, if you take, the general consensus of the people who are fans of the Red Sox, Jerry Remy is a beloved figure, when it comes to, the last however many years, call it 20 years, that might be a stretch, but
more.
I think that what you would see from Nesson if they didn't really care about their fans is they would just slide Eck right in, and that would be your guy, because obviously Eck has a little bit more pizzazz, and he's able to run with Dave O'Brien a little bit better, and I just think that that's his personality, whereas maybe Jerry Remy is a little bit sour about how things went down.
Well, I think Jerry's an X's and O's guy too. He knows baseball, solid as a rock. Eckersley knows it, solid as a rock. His delivery on the game makes it fun. Okay, but Dave O'Brien's an X's and O's guy. But Jerry Remy, he's a throwback. He's a ball buster.
Yeah.
They'll take a picture of somebody in the crowd like this.
Or if they really want to piss the fan base off, they would put in Psycho instead of Eck.
Oh, Jesus. Lions?
Yeah.
Forget that.
I interviewed him in the dugout at Fenway. When Nesson came to Haverhill, right, the cable station, and we had to do interviews in Boston. I interviewed him. I interviewed Wade Boggs. I interviewed Johnny Pesky. He's dead now. Did that one when he was alive. And then Roger Clemens, and I forget who else. And that was a long time ago. Long time ago. That was 1985.
Wow.
April of '85.
I am looking forward to it this year though, because when I saw that Eck and Remy would be in the booth together, I think those two are are great with each other. They can talk about the game, and I think they each bring their kind of own different spin to it. But they work really well with each other, and I'm trying to think of the game that I remember from last year, but they're going, Eckersley's talking about this pitcher that's throwing sliders, and the Red Sox are just teeing off on it. Next thing you know, the ball goes out of the park, and Remy's, there it is, Eck, just them going back and forth about the game. I thought was really great. So, I'm glad.
It's insight that nobody else gets.
Right. And it does look like they're trying to, get Eckersley in there and start, Jerry Remy weaning out, but I think that this is the right way to do it.
If they had 162 games at home, Eckersley would do them all.
Right.
He would. He just doesn't want to go on the road.
Right.
He doesn't want to travel. So we're going to travel. We're going to travel to break time. My goodness, this show's flying by. Every Wednesday night, I look forward to coming to seeing you two guys because, you really lift my spirits.
Oh,
and then around
likewise.
Then around this time, I can't wait to get away from you. We'll be right back. 978-374-1900. How'd you like that for a getaway?
Good Sports will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. Good Sports is sponsored in part by attorney Gerard Laflamme of Haverhill.
It's 7:32.
Your membership enables WHAV to remain local and independent. Consider joining at WHAV.net.
That we deliberate and achieve with wisdom and understanding, recognizing the rights of all of our citizens with full regard for the dignity and justice of the individual.
Each week, WHAV News brings you live gavel-to-gavel coverage of the Haverhill City Council. Listen to 97.9 WHAV FM each Tuesday night at 7 when the City Council is in session from the Theodore A. Pelosi Jr. City Council Chambers in City Hall. Presented as a public service from 97.9 WHAV FM. Attorney Gerard Laflamme, born and raised in Haverhill, has been practicing law since 1980, a graduate of Haverhill High in 1971, as well as the University of Maine and the Ohio State School of Law. His main focus is on OUI and DWI. Attorney Laflamme is also licensed in New Hampshire. And in 2013, he was inducted into the UMaine Hall of Fame, where he held 15 school track records, including the school mile record, which he held for 41 years. Attorney Gerard Laflamme. 978-521-4737. Online at havlaw.com.
Wave weather.
Now your wave weather forecast for Haverhill in the Merrimack Valley. Winter weather advisory in effect until 7 a.m. A very snowy night ahead with around 3 to maybe upwards of 5 inches possible. Temperatures drop back to 17 degrees with a light breeze. For the day Thursday, any snow will move out before 9 a.m., becoming mainly sunny. Highs near 30 with a very light breeze. Thursday night, mostly clear, low 16. And upper 30s, mostly sunny for Friday. I'm WHAV meteorologist Brian Ivy. Your next wave weather in 30 minutes.
WHAV.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents Good Sports with Paul Ryan and Tommy Morgan. Good Sports is sponsored in part by Haverhill attorney Gerard Laflamme. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Nine 978-374-1900. You only got 28 more minutes if you want to talk to the Millennial Magnet. Tommy Morgan. Dave Morrison across the way doing a great job.
The way you say Morgan, you almost sound like Adam Sandler in Saturday Night Live when he would do his Cajun Man skit. Do you remember that, Paul? You never watched Saturday Night Live, so forget that.
I watched it a long time ago.
No, I'm talking about early 90s when Adam Sandler was on the show.
He used to do that a long time ago.
Okay, I'm not talking about the John Belushi era. I'm talking about the Adam Sandler. When he would come on and he would do all these wimpy characters, and one of them was Cajun Man, and he would always say things like, Jim Bosson, Inebriation.
Fantastic. It's talent.
Amazing. He has a wide range, that Adam Sandler.
Yeah, from Manchester Central High School.
Originally from Brooklyn, though.
Well, I didn't know that. He's from Brooklyn?
No, he's from Brooklyn, yeah.
Did he move to Manchester?
Later on, yeah, I think.
Yeah, he went to Manchester Central High School. I know that. Anyway,
but just the way you said it, yeah.
Yeah, Tommy Morgan. That's the way I say it. We're back, right, Tom?
That's right.
All right, so the Red Sox, we got to tip our hat to a legendary sports writer and covered the Sox since 1987, I think it was, and always a great columnist. And the many times I saw him on TV, he was always a good listen. 62 years old, much too young, Nick Cafato, and had a embolism. On his day off, he was just walking around the ballpark, just, probably looking for a tidbit for his column. And probably found one.
It's a lousy way to die. I mean, I know dying is horrible regardless, but that's just, it breaks your heart.
Well, it's better than suffering, probably. Who knows? I don't know. I don't like to think about death, but I think about it too much now that I'm 66. But that's baseball. But Nick Cafato, God rest his soul. Mike Lynch said he was with him the whole week before, down in spring training, and he said, Nick Cafato yell at you if you didn't have Italian food. He said, hey, Lynchy, what'd you have for supper last night? Oh, I got a couple burgers. Burgers, apis. I had the eggplant palm. So he loved to eat the Italian food. Naturally, he's Nick Cafato. But they said he could really cook it, too. So, Nick Cafato, God bless you. Thanks for the baseball info, because you kept us full of great stats and knowledge that only you could find out for us.
And he was the last of the journalists, the baseball writers. He was never a name dropper like so many on Twitter nowadays, and that's you, Tommy.
That's me.
Twitter. I don't even know how to get on Twitter.
No, I wasn't. Well.
No, I'm just saying. I got on Facebook last week. I want to get off. Really. It's too much for me.
Wait, you're on Facebook?
Yeah, don't bother me.
Expect a friend request tonight.
I already sent you one.
When?
You're incognito on Facebook. You don't even have a picture.
Are you one of those people
I know what I look like.
Are you a Nigerian prince? Because I've been getting a lot of people from... I'm sorry to lighten the mood, folks, but that's what I'm here for. No, seriously, I've been getting a lot of weird Facebook friend requests.
Lighten the mood, Nigerian prince?
Well, no, I've been getting a lot of people. I don't know. They just. I don't know if they're real or if they've just taken somebody's picture offline and using it as theirs. I don't know if it's a Russian troll farm, but it's somebody. I've been getting all these friend requests from these people. I don't even know, but I have 166 friends in common with them, and half those 166 people I don't actually even talk with.
I got like 400 friends on there.
Are you? Really?
Tommy, you're dealing with here. Yeah. Dave, come on now. I'm telling you right now, I don't even know how to use it, and really don't want to.
You got to post a selfie on there.
I'm not putting my picture on there.
No.
All
right.
No. Like I said, I know what I look like.
Okay.
Whew, boy, this is tough. This is tough being me. You want to talk about me, Tom?
No.
I found you. Yeah, you don't even have a picture.
Hey, Dave, how you been? Jeez, I haven't seen you in a while. I haven't heard much from you either. Christ, we just talked about that. Excuse me.
No, I just had to trust but verify.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Fact check. Facebook check.
Oh, here.
My due diligence.
Listen to this. A question I wanted to ask you just popped into my head. So,
as me?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Because I think
questions.
This is something you might have a good opinion on. So, a good friend of mine who's
Kyle?
No.
I met your buddy Kyle at the gym.
Kyle.
He was the trainer at
Kyle.
RPI.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's a really good guy.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Good.
I body slammed him.
Yeah.
He couldn't mess with me anymore.
Yeah.
He's a big one.
Yeah, that's actually a funny story about that. But all right, so a friend of mine whose father was a high school golf coach in the area, no longer going to be the coach. Stepped down, has other plans or whatever. But the athletic director of the high school reached out to him and asked him if he would pick 3 kids from the team to be on a so-called board to interview candidates as the incoming coach. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, oh, you know, what is an 16, 17, 18-year-old kid, you know, going to know about what sort of, you know, caliber individual coach, you know, needs to come in? I feel like, you know, that should be left to the people who are there to make decisions, like the athletic director and people that are surrounding him. You know, why are you bringing the kids into it, right? Isn't it supposed to be you assign the coach and the coach is...
Where do these guys play golf? They play at the University of North Carolina or something?
No, right down the road.
This is crazy.
Right?
Yeah. The guy's the athletic director?
Yeah.
Hire a coach.
Right?
Bring the kids in. Oh, if the guy doesn't work out, have the kids fire him.
Right?
That? You going to do that too?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, you know, the kids are obviously going to, you know, look out for their best interest. Who's the coolest guy? Who's this? Who's that? Who may not even be the right fit as the, you know, for the candidate, you know, to be the coach. And I'm sitting there thinking, like,
I hope he gets 3 kids that picked 3 different people. That'd be great.
Right?
Try that one again. No, you know, I've
never heard of that before.
Well,
and then, you know, he said that the athletic director wants to start doing that for all sports across that school when a new coach is going to be hired.
He's a lefty.
Can you imagine, you know, 16, 17, 8-year-old kids trying to hire a high school football coach?
No.
Right? I mean, I found that to be...
No.
Anyways,
on third thought, no.
Your opinion is exactly what I thought it would be.
Yeah, I mean, come on. So we don't need an athletic director anymore. Just save the city $58,000 or whatever it costs.
Right.
All right. Okay, you're out. These kids are in.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, you could find 3 kids that just got out of college. Hire them. Screen us. Whatever. I don't know. No. How do you hear about these things?
I get the ins.
You should get the outs. Where's Dave?
I'm here.
Oh.
No, I was thinking I was watching Lynchy, actually. Mike
How'd
Lynch.
you get the job here, Dave? How many people
I just
screened
forced
you?
him.
How many people screened you?
Would you let me finish?
Answer
I
the
Forrest
question.
Gump my way through life, and I just walked in here one day, and Tim Coco was in.
Tim Coco, please.
Yeah, well, him and Allison were just
Allison's a
were
sweetheart.
on. Yeah, they were aghast that I just walked in. I was looking for a job. I was working somewhere else, and I came in asking if you guys were hiring or if this place was hiring, and the rest was history.
Beautiful. How long you been here?
Oh, I've been here since August.
Last August, huh?
This past August, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you were one of the first people I met. I actually remember when we were sitting down. You, Paul Ryan, you and Tim. We were all powwowing on the football.
Yeah.
Going over the schedule.
That's right. That's right. In the conference room.
Yeah, we had
on the big table.
Yeah, you were probably maybe the 3rd or 4th person from this place that I met.
Yep. I think you're right. I think you met Tim and Allison prior to meeting myself.
Yep, Allison had me do the news test, and now I'm doing pretty much everything.
Yeah, you doing news now and everything?
I'm doing news. I'm doing
copyright.
Yeah, and you know, I do copyright. I copy sound and obits and everything on the website. So you know, it's a lot of fun. Trying to level up. Yes, Tommy Morgan.
Here are today's obituaries.
Oh no, I could never take Win Damon's job.
Okay, let's see here. Oh, I'd like to do golf as obituaries. Everybody be 6 under.
Well, watching golf is like watching death.
Oh, cut it out. Stop it.
We got a good
playing it is one thing, but actually watching it.
We got a good stretch of golf coming up here. Players we got the Arnold Palmer next week.
Honda this week.
Yeah, but you know who cares about the Honda?
I just said Honda this week. Okay.
Yeah, but no one cares about that tournament. We got the
Honda does.
Arnold Palmer Invitational next week. Then you got the Players after that. Masters coming up in April. We got a nice little stretch here.
All right.
Dustin,
they have the Arnold Palmer, but why don't they have the Kevin Nealons?
I got a question for you, Dave.
But nobody got that joke.
No, I don't even know who that is.
Kevin, you haven't seen the Zeralto ads with
David, I got a question for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Did Arnold Palmer, like his half lemonade, half iced tea, with more iced tea or more lemonade?
Oh, I'd have to say more lemonade.
Wrong. That's wrong.
Okay.
More iced tea.
More iced tea?
Yep. Now you know when you buy yourself a nice cold can of Arnold Palmer. Arizona.
I still have some. Somebody left them outside my stoop in Lowell, Massachusetts, just randomly. Like, I would drink that.
So it's probably a good thing you haven't drank those if they left them outside your house.
Oh, this was probably about 3 years ago.
You
I
still
have some. You want me to bring them in?
No. Throw them out.
Oh, you sure?
Throw them out.
You know that river that runs through the town, Merrimack?
Yeah, it runs through this town.
Runs through Lowell. Go up to your old stoop in Lowell and fire them in the river from there. They're probably toxic or tainted.
Yeah, because the planet hasn't been polluted enough as is. I'll just take those
drink,
down. I'll just take those to a store.
Drink one of them and just throw one out.
They've been sitting in my fridge for 3 years,
So
Paul.
they're cold. Why don't you drink one?
Well, that doesn't have any relevance on the actual whether or not it's disgusting or
poison.
Poison, thank you.
Poison.
To be more apt, put right. Poison. Should we take a break?
Yeah, it's 7:45. We have to take a break because it's break time. 978-374-1900. Paul Ryan, Tommy Morgan, Dave Morrison. We'll be right back with more good sports. It's February 27th, and enjoy the last day of February tomorrow, and then it'll be March. Bye.
Good Sports will be right back. Get in on the action. Call 978-374-1900. Good Sports is sponsored in part by attorney Gerard LaFlamme of Haverhill.
Try listening to WHAV in your car or anywhere on your mobile phone. For fast access, visit WHAV.net.
Catch the wave!
When the Haverhill School Committee meets, 97.9 WHAV FM is there live from Haverhill City Hall. Class sizes, special education, teacher hiring, and spending are among the topics covered Thursday nights at 7 when the school committee is in session. Presented as a public service from 97.9 WHAV FM.
From the Edwin V. Johnson Newsroom, 97.9 WHAV FM presents Good Sports with Paul Ryan and Tommy Morgan. Good Sports is sponsored in part by Haverhill attorney Gerard LaFlamme. Call 978-374-1900. That's 978-374-1900.
Paul Ryan back here in the Edwin V. Johnson studio. Tommy Morgan, Dave Morrison. While we were off the air for that quick break, we were talking about the MIAA here in Massachusetts that seem to have their hands in everything sports-wise, obviously. It's the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association. And obviously, they should probably put some people and get them involved that know something about sports.
Right.
You know, because they're lacking a lot of it. As Dave and I were speaking, Tommy had to go get a water. And there's 4 teams going into the finals, the swim finals. Is that what you said, Dave?
I think about 5 of them that have losing records, and this was I started to bring it up just before the break. Michael Lynch from News Center 5 in Boston brought this up on, I believe it was last night. It's on Facebook, so go and check it out yourselves. He was talking about the girls MIAA. 5 of the teams. One of them, I think, was Framingham North down there in the Metro West area. They have a 3-17 record, and they're going to get to go to the MIAA playoffs.
What?
Now, that's ridiculous because I was taught, I'm sure you were taught, Tommy, that if you have a losing record, you don't get to go to the playoffs. Michael Lynch nailed it. If you got 17 out of 20 math questions incorrect, you would fail. We're taking everybody gets a trophy to a whole new level.
It's ridiculous.
So
And I've always had problems with the MIAA when I competed in track and field and cross country. The refs and the race officials, they were, I'm not going to go there, but they've been ridiculous for a long time. But MIAA now it takes the cake. This is insanity.
So
you got to teach the kids.
It's funny you say that because I look at it from a football perspective because when I was in high school, you had to win your division in order to get into the playoffs.
Makes sense to me.
We had my senior year. We had an 8-3 record, and the team that went to the playoffs had a 9-2 record. Right, makes sense. And they beat us head to head. Now with the whole point system and things like that, you can get into the football playoffs with a sub 500 record. Haverhill did it this year, but the way that they've kind of manipulated the whole playoff format, now that you're playing before Thanksgiving, whereas back just a few years ago you played after the Thanksgiving game, and I'm pretty sure it was just one game and you went.
Right.
There wasn't. I think it's 3 games.
3 games now, right?
Yeah.
They skipped the week before Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's what it is.
it is a little bit different, and I think when you look at it from a football perspective, I think it makes maybe a little bit more sense if you're trying to really extend that playoff picture and give some teams some chances.
That's one perspective. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is too, at the point that the playoffs start, you've only played 6 games.
Right.
Okay. If I'm not sending my son out there to work out or play football for 6 games.
Right.
If he doesn't get 9 at least, that's it. I mean, we used to play 9 every year. I mean, you guys went to 10, maybe 11. I don't know.
Right, and so that is a good point because, at the time, right, Haverhill was 4-2.
Right.
When they hit that playoff mark.
Right.
So that does make sense. But I think this whole swimming thing, 3-17 record, that doesn't even make sense.
It's just one of the teams. All 5 of these
have
teams
lifeguards on duty
sub
when they
500.
swim.
I don't even how is there any more information as to why
you got to go? I did. No, it was just a snippet on News Center 5, and it was just Mike Lynch doing a little bit. Yeah. I mean, just go, Tommy. You got your phone. You can check it out right now, and maybe on air, maybe not on air, but it really made perfect sense. I just followed a little bit of it, but it makes no sense whatsoever. 3-17, 5-16, or I'm sorry, 4-16. I mean, some of these records are just atrocious, and for these kids, they're not going to get anything out of life if they don't learn to lose. I'm sorry, you get out what you put in. You're not always going to get what you want.
Right.
You have to. Maybe I'm old school. Maybe you guys have a different take on this.
I know what you're talking about, Dave. You're right on the money.
The
thing is now, David and I were talking about this while you were taking your break, and you left us in here in the heat box.
Well, no, come on. He's got to do his thing.
I know. Yeah.
Just going down to Florida for the millennial massage.
Let's not go there now.
All right. All right, MIAA.
So now they want to
trophy culture.
No tackling if you're under the 8th grade. You hear that one?
Yeah.
How are you going to learn to tackle?
Well, so here's the thing.
Hopefully the first 4 years, 5th, 6th, 7th, 3 years, 5th, 6th, 7th grade, they're teaching people how to tackle properly. Get your head in front. None of this spearing. Get your head in front. Wrap the arms. I mean, I don't know.
Here's the thing for me, and obviously I know that I guess I'm considered in this generation of I guess of what has gone soft, but
not you specifically,
right? No, for me,
let him finish it. We'll make a judgment on that in a minute.
For me, I think one of the greatest things that I had growing up was being able to play, tackle football. It was obviously a game that I really enjoyed, but as I grew up, especially got into high school, being able to play that, taught me, friendship,
Absolutely.
Team, being a good teammate, being a good leader, things like that. I think the whole bill of, not being able to play tackle football, from 7th grade and below, why? You know what I mean? Like, why not just leave that up to the parents' discretion?
As I said before, the 5th and 6th graders should be playing together. 7th and 8th graders can play together. Okay? Teach them properly how to tackle. And there's a proper way. Get Andre Tippett to get out here with his crew and teach the proper way to tackle. It's
right. And the way that I see it is like, so now now if this law passes, right? Now you're only giving the kids 1 full year to play tackle football before they go to high school.
That's insane.
And,
that's right.
You talk about wanting to cut injuries out of the game. Well,
that's going to increase.
Right. If a kid only has one year of playing tackle football right into high school, like, you got kids that are much bigger, much faster, much stronger at that level. I think you're opening yourself up, to create more injury, in my opinion. And not only that, but if a kid is only playing 1 year of tackle football before high school, I think you're kind of killing killing kind of the talent pool and the interest of what's going to carry over into high school.
You got to learn the life
idea
before you stay with it.
Right. Exactly. And, like I said, being able to play, high school football was a great, one of the best parts of my life. And, it taught me more than just being able to play the game. Like I said, I have a lot of lifelong friends. I had a great mentor and coach in Tim O'Connor, and I've learned a lot being able to go through that experience. And I think that if you pass this bill and you kind of take that away from kids growing up, it's only just going to kind of take away from that next level.
They'll probably pass this bill. They'll probably drop the age to get a license to 12 or something like that.
It's funny because did you see that they want to pass a bill that would make an 85 an A? And a 70 a B.
I saw that.
I would have gone
Me too. I would have gone to Harvard. Right?
Unbelievable.
Are you kidding me?
I've been number 2 in my class.
I saw that on Twitter. It's it's a stupid time to be alive.
Right? I mean, like,
you know what? Something?
What's the point in studying for the test, right? I could go in there, right off the cuff and get 70% of the test right. That's a B.
I hope I live another 25 years, okay? I'm 66. I hope I live to 91. But I'll tell you right now, with everything that's going on...
That's arbitrary.
With everything that's... Take it easy, big boy.
I want to live till I'm 91. I like it. I didn't say I didn't like it. Go.
Go.
I forgot. So, the thing is, the crazier this world gets, the more you can have a moment of inner silence and you're thinking about, being close to getting out. It's not a bad deal right now because I'll tell you, they're all whacked out there. It's incredible. The girl yesterday, the MAGA hat, she was an illegal
Brazilian.
Illegal alien, Brazilian.
Brazil.
She whacked the kid, took the hat off his head. He was sitting at a bar at a Mexican
restaurant.
I saw that,
yeah.
She got arrested, for assault. Everybody in the place said she did. The kid never budged. He laughed. He was talking to an iPhone afterwards like this, saying, "That's it. So just watch it now. Let her watch. She's going to do it again." Unbelievable. I got my MAGA hat on. I'm just trying to get a good meal like this.
It's
kept his mouth shut, and then they had to call ICE because she was illegal alien.
Whatever happened? Whatever happened to holding judgment and actually either liking a person or not liking a person for the person that they are, not the political stance that they have.
Those days are gone. Tommy, it didn't work.
Right? It's
welcome to the age of tribalism, gentlemen.
It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like someone who is a liberal and someone who is a conservative. They can't get along anymore.
Well, I'll tell you right now.
Right?
I'd like to go to that swim meet, and I'd like to see the fans that are there for that 3-17 team, because that would tell you a lot about a lot of people.
Yeah.
That would be a picture worth putting in your wallet and saying, these people went to see a 3-17 team swim in the state meet.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I would make sure that I got kidnapped that day if I had a kid on that team.
All right, guys.
That's it for tonight. That's it for this week. Tommy Morgan will be back next week. I may be here. I'm not positive yet. I'll know
we want you
another
here.
day. Well, just leave me alone, Dave. I'll do what I want.
We will be having.
I started here before you. I started in July.
We'll be having
That's right.
the head coach of Northern Essex baseball on next week as well at 7:15. So join us for that.
And I got to get my man Jimmy, who's at Red Sox aficionado as far as all the collection he has. You know, if I can get him to get some pictures in here, he's probably get some on Facebook and so forth. But I got his number right on my old desk here. I'll grab it on the way out, and I'll take it with me and make sure I call him and get in touch with him. I tried last week, but I don't know why he didn't pick up. Maybe he wasn't home. This is a home phone. I don't think he has a cell. Maybe he does. I don't know. Jimmy lives in Amesbury. He's got a great collection. He was on Nesson. They had him on Nesson one night. So that's enough of that. Now it's 8 o'clock straight up. See how I did that, Tom? Now it's time for the 8 o'clock news, I think, if I'm right.
We got weather and solid gold oldies right
We'll
here.
be back next week. Paul Ryan, Tommy Morgan, and Dave Morrison. We'll be back.
Good night.
Good Sports is back again next Wednesday night at 6. The opinions expressed on Good Sports are not necessarily those of 97.9 WHAV FM, its underwriters, or affiliated stations. Good Sports was sponsored in part by attorney Gerard Laflamme of Haverhill.
It's 8:01.
WH